Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
And welcome to TEFL Live 2014 Week 5 edition. We're back with my two new co-hosts.
Yeah.
Say hi, fellas.
How's it going?
I think that was a better introduction already than last week.
Makes me feel a lot better about myself. I'm not smiling anymore.
Yeah, okay. Good job. Well, hopefully we got our fans back. You guys are ready for this show. We got a good one in store for you. Things to talk about last week's games like usual, and these previous games. It's not looking good for y'all again. But we are going to get into some power rankings. We're going to talk about, like I said, last week's games. So stay tuned. And we'll talk next time.
He gon' make you say, I'ma make you say, I'm not RP, but damn G, the mood is crowd. I stay on like ice with money, cause I like bitches hit nothing but tight. He call me, I might hit it.
Welcome back to TFL Live. Our next segment here, we're about to get into last week's games, talk about some interesting things, see what we got, maybe some surprises. All I know is all my picks are right. How about y'all?
2 out of 3 is not
2 out of 3 is not bad. That's 66%.
That's
failing.
That's passing in college though.
That is passing.
That good D plus.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay. D stands for diploma. So the first game we had last week, we had the Titans defeat the Phoenix. The score was 28-6. Then we had the Tigers beat the Ducks. That was 46-0. The Bucks handed the Outlaws their 4th loss on the season. They're 13-0. And then the Horns was a little tight first, and then they got their footing together, let's say, and they ended up finishing the game 42-12. So let's just go right off the bat. Joshin, PJ, Luck, man of many names. Titans and Phoenix. Anything surprise? What did you take from that game?
Actually, like Titans, another good win. Like they're showing to be a real strong team, a good number 2, like they've proven to be. But it was I saw a little frustration there for a second, man. The Phoenix did have a touchdown called back. I mean, they're starting. I feel like the Phoenix after the Outlaws game are starting to really like
band together.
Yeah, they might be.
I agree.
They might be a playoff team, man. Like they came in they felt like they had something to prove. People wrote them off as a weak link, and now they're starting to make a splash in the league.
Okay.
They better watch out.
Ruben, did you see that game?
Oh yes, sir. I was there. I was also there watching the game.
What was your take on that one?
Shout out to the Vikings. I feel like they heard a couple of last comments I said, and I mean they played an excellent game.
Did you just say the Vikings?
I mean the Titans.
See?
The Titans.
These two playing around.
Now they're moving to me. Now they're going to change
new team for next year.
Inside scoop. New team for next year, the Vikings.
Titans offense, QB played well, the smart ball handling. Phoenix, shout out to the Phoenix. Kudos to them. They played a very strong game. They played a good game. I kind of want to say they didn't have a lot of plays go their way. Not saying which refs, not saying the refs didn't. They had a lot of good plays, caught back on them, but that was a good game to watch.
Well, I think both of you guys are stressing the Phoenix and their kind of evolution of the league. And much respect to them and their structure to organize and come to play every week. Sure. And I think they're kind of like the the Cinderella darling of the league, so to speak. I think it's hard to not like them. Anybody doesn't respect them. But I think you guys are both kind of, I don't want to say disrespecting, but you kind of forgetting about the Titans. And being someone who's played them in the last 2 championships, I know that they're hungry. And I know that I think they're kind of that team that gets overlooked a lot just because they're always there. They're kind of rock steady, just like I think we are. They don't lose many games a year either.
They don't.
So it's definitely somebody who we play this next week, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Much respect to Coach, to Rick, and so Rick played quarterback predominantly most of the game.
I didn't even see Silk at the game, truthfully.
Yeah, Silk was not at the game.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure.
I'm pretty sure he'll be at our game, but he wasn't at this game.
Let's see if he watches the show.
Okay, so that wraps it up. Old man Silk, show your face.
Please.
We miss you. Next game was the Tigers and Ducks. I think we can kind of not glaze over this. The only thing I want to say is much respect to the Ducks for all you guys that showed up. We appreciate you showing up. I think, you knew you guys were in for a tough game, but y'all still showed up, and I respect, you gained a lot of respect from me and my team and my players for doing that and not, folding and not just, giving in. So hopefully, you guys can continue to put things together, develop for next year. But you guys still have a chance to technically make the playoffs.
Truthfully.
So keep coming out. You never know when it's going to come together. Do you guys have anything to say about that?
The Ducks played well. The Tigers had another excellent game, so no surprise there.
Shout out to the Kennedys though, dog. I wouldn't say it was a laugher or like a snoozer, but it got pretty bad at the end. But I'm glad they showed up. They're a real tough team. They lost a couple players, but they haven't given up yet.
Yeah.
So that's all that matters.
The Ducks did their thing. The Tigers came to play.
Keep coming out, Ducks. You guys will put it together. All right. Next game was the game of the week. I'm gonna kind of skip over that and then go to the Horns and the Avengers. The Horns ended up winning 42-12. They came through some adversity. One, their star player was suspended. Troy didn't play, but they still handled their business. The field was wet and muddy early in the day, so I think that kind of negated some of their speed, kept the Avengers a little in the game but the Horns kind of separated themselves from the Avengers. Your take on that game?
My bad, by the way, for the last week's little mess up. But still with my pick, like the Avengers, it wasn't a blowout the whole time.
Did you pick the Avengers?
No, I did not.
Oh.
I almost did though. Like Trevion.
Oh, that's right.
Trevion, I don't care what nobody says, man. He came. This is his first year in the league, man. Fighting for Rookie of the Year, I see, because he's making big splashes. Defensive end, I think for the Longhorns, he's a real angry dude, man. I heard the comments about what you gonna do to the Tigers next time y'all play, man. So week 6, that's gonna be something to look out for.
Ruben?
I also watched the Horns and the Avengers game. It was a good game in the beginning. Like you said, PJ said the field was real wet. They had what is the word? They did
Irrigation
to the field the night before the game. It was real wet and muddy. Both teams fought hard and gave it their all. It was pretty close in the beginning, and the Horns just kind of ran away with it there at the end.
All right.
Yeah, thanks E for showing up at halftime, man.
E?
Yeah, he showed up.
Chilinsky?
Yeah,
Really?
he showed up real late.
All right. Well, let's get into the game of the week. The Bucks and Outlaws. I think kind of everything was built up to be for most of the game. I think it was scoreless at halftime.
Scoreless, 0-0.
Defensive shutout, both squads in the first half.
Yes, sir.
Kind of a filling out process. You guys obviously played for the Laws, so your take might be a little biased. I saw the whole game. I thought it was two teams playing well for the most part, and the Bucks just kind of took advantage of a little bit more of y'all's mistakes. When you're rushing Noel, when you're rushing Furlough, you got to really try to contain. I saw him get out a couple times early, but they just made a couple more plays. Furlough, shout out to Furlough, he threw a dime to I don't even know what kid that was down the sideline on the home side. That was a beautiful pass and catch. And then I don't remember what the second touchdown was, but that third touchdown was negated due to the fact that the unsportsmanlike penalty before you got to the end zone. And if you've never heard of that, look up the NCAA rules, read your rule book that is in there. I don't know why the Bucks players are acting like they've never heard that rule. Probably because you never read the rules, but that is a legitimate rule, NCAA rules. So look that up. Your take on the game and maybe the Outlaws' perspective, so to speak.
Well, like trying to be as unbiased as possible. It was a good game to me, like the fact that it lived up to the game of the week always lives up to the hype. Like there's never been like a game of the week where it's just a complete blowout. Like it was real chippy out there. Like it was a lot of aggression. We was out. Everybody had emotion. They were playing real crazy. Like it was a good game. Outlaws just made the mistakes.
What do you think that you guys could have done differently to pull out the win?
We just score. That's how football goes. You have to score to win games. Like going in there,
You can't win 0-0.
You know what I mean? Like, the defense can't do it all. There was an interception, 2 interceptions, by the way. It was shut down. It was 2 big plays. Like, the furlough touchdown, good juke, by the way. The furlough touchdown happened after a punt that went like 6 yards.
Yeah.
We didn't have a punter. Like, our punter was injured earlier in the game. So
Ruben, what do you think that if you guys happen to squeak into the playoffs somehow by the end of the year, and maybe you play the Bucs again in the first round, what do you think you guys should do differently offensively to get y'all over that hump?
Mark, I mean, I've heard people say it many, many times, and I also agree because I'm a big believer. The Outlaws just need a different offensive scheme, whether it be, new plays, new players filling different positions, whether it be receivers, linemen, running back, quarterback, like no one really has like a set position. On any team, we're playing 8-man. Like, you can be defensive player, offensive player, what have you be. Just an offensive scheme. We really can't be running these same plays we seem to be running, every game. So just come up with something new for these teams to not be ready for.
Okay. Well, that was everything that we had to talk about for this last week's games. This last segment, by the way, was sponsored by TEFL, where real athletes play. Again, if you didn't like what we said about last week's game, you always have a new Sunday to talk, change it, change perspective. Shout out to all the teams that won. Shout out to all the teams that played hard and came up short this week. And we'll see you guys in the next segment where we talk about this upcoming week's matchups.
Do the rock away. Now lean back. Lean back. Lean back. Lean back. Come on.
Hard to the easy, into the wizard.